Welcome everyone, I'm John McGuire, founder and director of the Kinesiology Institute, and I'm so thrilled you're here with us today to find out more about biochemical kinesiology. This is a course that we actually have available both online, go at your own pace, as well as a certification program that's coming up in the fall, October 14 through 18, and then 2nd through the 6th of December. And I'll talk more about that as we go along. I'm also going to be showing some techniques from the class that you can learn right now that you can incorporate and answer any questions that you have. So I'll be demonstrating this, and we're also going to answer anything about the course as well as just content from kinesiology. Now, some of you are already registered for the class, so you'll get a preview. And for you that stick around till the end, I'll offer a special discount for you if you enroll now. I've been doing kinesiology now for 40 years. I started as a body worker doing deep tissue work, doing massage, and I had a very prosperous practice. The challenge was I didn't know what to do when. I had a huge toolbox of techniques, and someone would come in with a problem and I'd say, well, let me try this technique. Sometimes it worked great, sometimes it wasn't quite the right technique. I also had a background in holistic kinesiology, well actually holistic health, and I basically wanted to branch out from just structural work to do more nutritional work as well as spiritual, mental, and emotional, and understanding lifestyle. In fact, you can write this down. All health problems are based on challenges within a person's living, eating, and thinking. That's L-E-T. See, we develop problems in the first place by how we have imbalances in our lifestyle, eating foods that could perhaps cause energy blockage and stress and dysfunction within our organs and our systems, and then our thinking. Psychological factors have an effect on the brain's endocrine system through the hypothalamus to the pituitary, then out to the adrenals, and can cause havoc. So we think in holistic terms in kinesiology, and I wanted a system that could bring all those together. Well, then I had the great fortune and privilege of studying with the creator of applied kinesiology, Dr. George Goodheart. I took his year-long certification program, and my practice grew exponentially because then I could find out what was at the source of a person's health challenge through using manual muscle testing, which I'll be demonstrating today. Sometimes someone will have, say, low back pain due to structural imbalances. So we'll talk about that, how certain muscles will become weak, others become tight. And so when you find out what muscles are imbalanced, you can immediately strengthen the weak muscles through neurological reflexes. I'll also demonstrate that today. And you can also have low back pain from nutritional imbalances. And I'll talk about that, how certain foods you eat can basically inhibit or switch off muscles, where then the muscle that gets weak causes an opposing muscle to get tight, putting pressure on the nerves, etc. Then there's also the mental and emotional factors. Dr. Goodheart coined a term, emotional low back. He worked with the executives in the motor industry in Detroit, and he said a lot of them under extreme stress, it fries their adrenals, which then has an effect on their ligaments, and then they would end up having back pain because of mental and emotional factors. So that's just an example. So from doing Goodheart's training, I then became a Touch for Health instructor at the end of my training in 1982. And I had the great fortune of moving from Akron, Ohio to Pasadena, California, to work as the program director of the Touch for Health Foundation with Dr. John Thie, and was also as a chiropractic assistant in his practice to watch how he worked with people, and then learning those approaches that he had from his training. And he was actually the creator of the bylaws of the ICAK, that's the International College of Applied Kinesiology. So he was right there at the foundation. So I got amazing training and abilities to take this work and share it with others. So as a Touch for Health instructor and then a faculty member of the International College of Kinesiology, I was able to spread this throughout the United States, Canada, and actually 17 countries, being the first person to bring this to Russia as well as Italy. And now it's just thrilling how many great results both my students and their students, as they've been training other people, are getting by using this work, getting phenomenal results with their clients. So back to the understanding of kinesiology. What we're doing is we're finding out where there is energy blockages that are then producing functional and biochemical imbalances. See, it boils down to this. When energy is blocked in the systems, particularly the acupuncture meridian system, which I'll be demonstrating, then the body will reveal that with a certain muscle that is associated with that meridian being weak. Or I will show you how I can touch specific points on the body to find out where those energy blocks are. When you balance energy, you can write this down. When you balance energy, symptoms often go away naturally. And that's the beauty of this. You don't have to know, oh, what do I do for this condition or that condition? What you do is you find out where the body is blocked in energy through muscle testing, and then supply whatever the body wants to bring that back. Now that could be nutritional supplementation, changes in their diet, emotional stress release. It can be doing neurological reflexes, which I'll demonstrate, where you're stimulating certain reflex points on the body, touching lightly or working along the course of a meridian or a specific acupressure point. So this is what we teach in our courses, is how to find out where energy's blocked, how to unblock it, and then confirm that you got a result. And ultimately, the confirmation is when the person says, wow, my pain is gone. Often, when I'm working with a client and as well as my students, they'll say, wow, this person had a condition for years, and in one session it cleared up. So you'll get those kind of results. So I'm here to be your guide. I'm offering my training, my expertise to lead you along the way from 40 years of experience in training, and how you can then get these results a lot faster than I took 40 years to develop. So let's get started. Is there anything going on in your body right now? Any stress you have? Any low energy? Any symptoms that might be happening at the moment?
So I tend to often have a lot of gastrointestinal symptoms that are like, cramping, digestive issues, and then I feel like are often related to my stress or psycho-emotional kind of status.
Okay.
And I do have fatigue, I think, because of those stress levels as well.
Okay, good to know. On a scale, like right now, how you feel, 1 to 10, which is 10 would be the most stressed you feel, and 1 would be like you're totally in a calm state and your body's feeling energy and relaxed. 10 being the worst, 1 being the best. What number would you say you're at right now so we can check in later on and see how we go?
Right now, I'd probably say at about a 5.
Okay, 5. Okay, great. So let's have you lie down. I think we got your, I'm going to have your head here and your feet down there, and then put the rest of you in between those 2 points. Okay, great. Now, have you had muscle testing done before?
Once or twice.
Once or twice,
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you hold your arm up with gentle, relaxed pressure. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a magnet here. And what we like to do is make sure we have a clear indicator muscle to start with. So this is a baseline to say energy's flowing when it's strong and she meets my pressure, gradual increasing pressure. Then I put the green dot, which is the north pole of a magnet, over the muscle I'm testing and hold again as I push and see what happens. It goes down. Again, hold and hold. Okay? So that is one thing that will give you now a start to see what else we need to do. So I'll demonstrate some things we're doing in the course as well as how I do in my practice. Okay, so there are points on the head that we teach in our fundamentals. Some of you have done that fundamentals course. And I touch right here and I retest the muscle and see what happens. Oh boy. Hold again. And when I touch here, see right on the glabella, it goes weak. Now I say liver, it goes strong. And then I say gallbladder, it stays weak. So that's saying there's a change The way to remember this, a change is going to do you good. So that's saying, ooh, the liver may be under stress. Now I can touch over here and see what happens. And this is the element of the fire in Chinese medicine. There's 4 meridians there. I touch back here and see what happens. Oh, we got something going on here. So spleen, that changed. So something's going on in spleen. And then here is stomach, did not change. So when I touch the head point that goes with it, it tells me what meridians are out. Now I can touch back here, and that's strong. Let's touch over here, and that's strong. So this was the metal element. This is the water element, which would be kidney, bladder. Metal is lung, large intestine. So we know we got spleen and liver showing some imbalances, okay? Great. So we teach this in the biochemical course that's coming up, where you get to see, okay, now I can quickly find the priority under energy. For you that have done Touch for Health, it might be a 15-minute procedure to figure out where's the priority. And I was fortunate to study with Dr. Sheldon Deal, who showed how you could find this out in 15 seconds or less. Okay, now let's test some muscles related to this. The liver is related to the pectoralis major sternal. So I'm going to push up and out like this, and you hold. Okay, that's strong. Now let's do this one. I'm going to push up and out at this angle and see what we get. Ready and hold. Oh, look at that. Now that's showing that we have a energy blockage in the circuit on the right for the liver, because every muscle in your body, Goodhart figured this out, every muscle in your body is related to an organ and an acupuncture meridian. So that's the beauty here. You can find out a lot of things more than, oh, we're just talking about muscles. We're talking about energy systems and organs that could be under stress. Now I can also take the indicator muscle here. Remember, that's a baseline. When I touch a point, if it's showing stress, it will then go weak. So I'm going to point right in at the liver here. So I'm pointing at the liver and see what happens. Wow. So it's her body. See, the thing is that what's going on inside of your body is expressed outside when you know the system. So I touch here and it's saying, oh, we're under stress. Now, when I have a stressor, either the muscle itself or this here, I can then see, well, what will help it? Now, there's a system called finger modes that was developed by Dr. Alan Beardall, amazing genius in kinesiology. And so I can take, let's put this muscle back here that I'm testing. And so as I push up and out, it's weak. Now I can touch my thumb to the index finger and see what happens. Okay, that did not change. Now let's go to the nutritional finger and see what happens. Oh, that changes. Let's see about this here. What happens when I touch here? That's weak. And here, that's weak. Now this is saying it's not emotional factors. And this finger, the little finger, would be energy factors, like the meridian or other light touch techniques. So we did find nutrition made a difference, okay? So now what I can do is I can, and we show this in the class, how you can find out what nutrition is relevant. And I think we're going to show it. I have a chart here that we use. And when I look over at the chart, now right up here, it shows the nutrition for it. Now we also have this in a folio. We have these available if you're interested in purchasing them through the kinesiologyinstitute.com under the products. So it's saying vitamin A, vitamin F, and methionine. We also show you these points in the class are called Riddler points. So you can learn where nutrition points are on the body that could tell you what they need. This was developed by a Dr. Riddler, chiropractor, who noticed when people had certain nutritional deficiencies, certain things on their body were sore. And so in this case, I'm going to have you take your right hand over the right eyelid. She's touching that, and that's for vitamin A. Now that stayed strong, so it says that's not a factor. Now vitamin F is right here. That means essential fatty acids. So she's going to touch right up there and see what happens. Ooh, see, that goes weak. So it's saying a deficiency of essential fatty acids could be contributing to the stress in the liver that's also stressing the pectoralis, major sternal muscle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next point for methionine. Now we show you that every amino acid, there's 22 amino acids, everyone has also an acupressure point that it relates to. So I'm going to touch right here on liver 1. That's the point for methionine, and see what happens. Hold. Wow. Let's see. Now I got to go up here. This might be a little longer of a stretch. Let's bend the knee so I can touch this easier and see what happens. Okay, and that here, it goes strong. Now, that also is an indicator of potentially heavy metal toxicity. Methionine is an amino acid, essential amino acid, that helps to clear heavy metals. So there's a test for that, and we show this in our class. You take a muscle, like let's try the pectoralis major clavicular here. It doesn't matter which muscle. It's strong. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across the midline and pull and see what happens. And there it goes. I just thought we could check some supplements here that are helpful for that. One of them is chlorella. Okay, so that's the sign you have heavy metals when you're crossing the midline. Again, I'm going to demonstrate it. I push like this, but when I cross the midline, it goes weak. So we could have her, with the energy, everything has a vibrational frequency. Einstein taught us that. In fact, there's a whole field growing now called biophysics. And biophysics shows that the frequency of vibration in a supplement, just like you have a frequency going into a cell phone, there's a signal. Well, there's a signal coming out of this going into the body's signal. So what I can do here is I can put this on the body and try pulling this across. And that goes strong. Now there's other foods. This is chlorella. So have you ever used chlorella?
I love chlorella.
She loves chlorella. Well, you need to have a new love affair with it by taking it.
I haven't taken it in many years.
Haven't taken it in many years. Okay, well, it's time to get back to your love affair with chlorella and get on it. So this is one supplement that can help. And there's also other ones. So I'm going to check, because she had vitamin F, I can take here some salmon oil. Let's see if I have some here. I don't think I have it present, but I can even say the word. In fact, we can even check some foods. Now, ideally you have the frequency of it in the body, but even if I ask the body, so here we got, hold as I push, got a weak, right like this. Okay, so I'm going back to this weak muscle for liver, and now I'm going to say, let's try, think about cilantro. You like cilantro? Mm-hmm. Okay, she can taste it. Think of cilantro, and that goes strong. If I had it present, which I don't have it right here in front of me, that would also switch on. Now, let's see if we have methionine. We already said about that. Methionine. Okay, salmon oil. Okay, those are strong. Ideally, again, I would have those present. In fact, let me see if I have some, we have a test kit here. Because of the heavy metals, I'm going to pull out some things here that could be related to this. Okay? Now, here's one that's quite common. It's mercury. These are frequency vibrations. So what you have is, it's a test kit we also have available with foods and various toxins and heavy metals. So if I test a strong muscle, and let's see if it goes weak when this is in her field, it's saying, mercury, it's methyl mercury actually, is the form here that she is switched off on. I can go through other things in the test kit, but this is one of the most common. A lot of people with mercury toxicity. And you can get it from the environment, from products, a lot of things, even in foods, often in salmon, or particularly fishes like swordfish and tuna are huge in mercury. I know Tony Robbins had almost a fatal level of mercury toxicity. He ended up in a wheelchair, and they found out it was like off the charts. And he said he had been eating a lot of swordfish. So you got to watch. In fact, we'll show you how we test foods in a moment. So now we got some ideas here what's contributing to the liver and what supplements and foods we need. Now there's also reflexes for the liver, so let's check those. Okay, so I'm going to have you hold the arm up again. And as I push up and out, again, that's switched off. So touch right here, and this is the reflex for clearing lymphatic congestion, both in the liver as well as the muscle. Okay, so that's switching on. Now let's have you touch right up here. This is a neurovascular point. And that is related to increasing blood flow to the organ and the liver, as well as the muscle. That's switching on, okay? Now we can also do things that stimulate energy flow. Even though it's not a priority for her, the priority was nutrition. So we can also stimulate that by switching and running the meridian. So let's have you touch the end of the meridian right here and see if the body likes that. And this tells me what I need to do. And that didn't help. So in this case, we know we're going to correct that with the neurolymphatic and the neurovascular. So let's have you rub right here in that rib space. So get right where the breast meets the chest wall. You guys can do this as you're watching too and see if you've got any tenderness. It's on the right side. So on your right side, find right where the breast meets the chest wall. For men, it's like wherever the nipple is, the first space in the ribs right below it. And then you're going to work from the sternum all the way out to the side. And if you find a tender spot, rub it a little further. Do you feel any tenderness there?
I did feel a tender spot and I lost it.
Okay.
I did feel it.
Go back to it. Okay. Now I'm going to get in the back. And then we're going to show those points on the chart again. So right here on the liver, it's showing that spot right under the breasts. And she's rubbing that as I'm rubbing the point in the back. And then there's also the points on the head right here that I'll touch lightly. And then we'll see what we got. Okay, and so this is the correction points that help to switch on the muscle. And it's also helping clear any stress in the liver. Okay, let's see what we got. Now let's retest that muscle and see if it's now switched on. So just relax the arm there. I'm going to push up and out, and now it's real strong. Can you feel the difference?
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm pushing as hard as I can. Before it was like, there's nothing there. And that's the beauty of muscle testing. You get immediate feedback. Did my correction work? Now, we can also test foods that might be a stressor. So tell me some foods you eat.
Oh, well, so, talking about mercury, I do eat a lot of king mackerel.
Okay, king mackerel. Think about king mackerel. Okay, just think about it. Wow, that just immediately says, it's stressing my liver. Okay, so that might be something to eliminate. What else?
Coffee, a lot of coffee.
Coffee? Uh-oh, another one.
Let's see, orange juice I drink in the mornings.
Okay, orange juice isn't affecting at least the liver. We're checking specific for the liver. And
what about hummus?
Hummus. Oh, and that's another one, okay. And we happen to have hummus in the house. So let's see what happens when I bring out the hummus. And I'm going to show you a little trick that Dr. Deal showed me. Sheldon Deal is amazing. We also cover his courses, his AK Shortcuts courses. We teach a lot of his material. So I want you just, so hold the arm up here, and then just get a sniff of this. Okay? All right, and hold. Whoa. You went totally weak. Yeah, isn't that crazy? And it's so fun when people are new to muscle testing. It's like, whoa! I was teaching this at Tony Robbins' Life Mastery. We had a amazing crowd of 2,000 people from, I think, 70 different countries. And I was teaching them how to do self-testing with this as well. And I brought one of his assistants. If you've seen Tony's programs, her name is KK. And she was like, wow, that's amazing. Her arm would totally go weak, and then we'd find out how to correct it. So here's what we're going to do. There's a technique using a laser that happens to be 635 nanometers. And I want you to just hold this hummus. Now, while she's holding it, the hummus is in her energy field of her body. And this was discovered by Fritz Popp, that the body has a frequency of 635 nanometers. Now, while it's on her hand, we're going over the hummus to blend it with her energy, and it can often deactivate the negative effect, at least of the hummus we're going over here. It has to be touching her body. It's only this amount of hummus. It's not like every hummus she eats now is going to be fine. But let's see what happens. Okay, so we just lasered that while she was touching it. I could have been having it on her belly too. It's just as long as it's in your field. You're touching the food. Okay, let's see what happens when you smell it again. Okay, hold as I push now. Whoa, totally strong. Wow. Isn't that wild?
It's so strange.
Yeah, so that's another tip when you, in fact, One of my instructors, she was over in India with 40 different people. And she brought her laser, and every meal she put, if you can't, like say it's a bowl of soup, you put the hand right up, or a salad. You don't have to be touching the salad, but just have it right in your field as she would laser that. And she was the only one out of the group of 40 people who didn't get sick while she was in India. So that's another little trick if you got a food that you want to at least deactivate. Now, it doesn't mean you can go out and get a bag of Oreo cookies and we're just going to do that all day long and eat the bag. It doesn't turn it into health food, but it can deactivate the stressor, okay? So let's see what else we got here. I can also look at some other muscles in the body, and let's look at her posture and see what else is going on. Now, you mentioned you had stress from possibly...
Oh, I've had anxiety and stress my entire life.
Okay. You're not new to that, huh?
No.
Okay.
So I don't deal with stress very easily.
Okay.
So just about anything can trigger it.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens. I'm going to grab, let's see if I have some here. I do. I'm going to grab some sugar and see what happens when we again, we have a strong muscle. We're going to drop sugar on our body and see what happens. Okay, that goes weak. All right. Now, let's see if it stays weak or if the body adapts, okay, and see what happens. Okay, it did adapt. Now, we also have a muscle that's related. She talked about gut stress. This is the quadricep. So I'm going to push down like this and see what happens. Okay, she's strong on the quadricep. Now I'm going to do that with the sugar packet and see what happens. Okay, again, it goes weak. Now, you notice the arm went strong in about 10 seconds. So if I wait a little time, I'm going to see if the small intestine-related muscle, which is the quadriceps, if that goes strong. Okay, so hold as I push again, and it's not going strong, is it? Let's check on your arm. See, the arm adapted, but the small intestine-related muscle doesn't adapt. That is a sign of leaky gut. Okay, so that could be where the tight bonds of the cells along the lining are starting to get apart, which can be from wheat, stress, alcohol, even drugs, antibiotics. That can all take an insult to the lining. So there's some factors that are often helpful for that. And we talked about amino acids. There's an amino acid point for L-glutamine, which is great for repairing the lining. So let's see if that helps. I'm going to small intestine 19, and look, that goes strong now. So again, let's actually test this. I'm going to show here. So I've got this muscle weak. Now, you can touch on either side. You can touch right there, just off the ear, that small intestine 19, the point for L-glutamine, and that goes strong. So that's giving us another clue that would be helpful. Now, let's check back on heavy metals. There's another formula here that has spirulina. In fact, this is part of what is used in Anthony William, if you're familiar with him. He has a heavy metal detox. It's also known as the medical medium. And so I'm going to have we're going to go back and just see what this does for you. Smell that. Okay, let's see if that also helps the gut. Okay, and see if this is strong now. And it is. Let's see if that also fixed the point here where I'm going across the body. See, that's the heavy metal indicator. So get a sniff of that again. Or I can even just put it on her body and see if her body likes that. See, so we're getting some great nutritional things, what to eliminate. So I don't know that you want to go out and have a lot of king mackerel and then take your laser, but if you happen to be, that would be good. Now, also, let's see, we showed a little bit with the test kit. That also is where we have that available. It's not on our website yet, but we're going to put it up. We just got them in. There are 150 vials that include things like foods. We have 75 different common foods that people eat, as well as neurotransmitters. There's also a thing for, in fact, let's pull it up. I love it. I use this with every client. Okay, so let's go here, and we're going to have you touch, let's go down this line here. She's just going to go down the line, and then I'm going to test a strong indicator muscle. Just drop it over here. That'll be easier. Okay, just run down the line again. Hold as I push, and it goes weak. So now let's go just this half of the line, right to there. Okay, and let's see if that half's showing. Okay, yep, there's something in there. Let's just do this right here, these three. See if there's something there. And there is. Okay, so let's go to, let's just try this one right here. And bingo, it goes. Now that one is serotonin. Now there's another thing we teach in the course is how to find out if someone has a neurotransmitter deficiency. And I'm going to use a magnet for that. Okay, this is from the work of Eric Braverman. Arm out again. And I'm going to put the magnet right here. And right over here on, that was the frontal bone, that would indicate an imbalance in dopamine. This is acetylcholine for the parietal bone. Then down here, okay, hold here. Oh, that's showing we got GABA deficiency. And then back here on the occiput, that's serotonin deficiency. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you touch right here, like where your glasses would sit. As I test again, if it goes strong, it's showing a deficiency of serotonin. Yes. So that is a way we can determine if serotonin is a deficiency. Now, because you have GABA and serotonin deficiency, that could relate to some of your stress levels. So do you find you will tend to ruminate on things like thoughts? You can't switch the brain off at times?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Definitely. Okay. So let's find out. Now I'm going to go back this time. I'm going to do what we call putting something in circuit. So you're going to separate your feet 18 inches apart when the muscle goes weak. Actually, your knees. Okay? So the knees like just spread out like that when it goes weak. Okay? There. Now that puts it in a neurological circuit where these are called Ruffini end organs coming from the acetabulum, the hip joint, riding up to the brain. The same time there was a magnet, and it remembers that when, as long as she doesn't move her feet. So that way I have a free hand. So now we can find out, again, if she touches there, right there, that's saying, oh, that would be a thing you could do to help clear that stress. Now also right here, let's have you touch right there, and let's see what happens. That's good. Now how about up here? I'll tell you what these points are. Okay, so this is an emotional stress release point that whenever you're under emotional stress, if you touch here, it takes stuff out of the back of your brain in the occiput and brings it to what's called the prefrontal cortex, where all transformation and stress release happens. That's why when we're under stress, we often go, oh my gosh. We touch there instinctively. Yeah. So those are two things for you to do, as well as right here. And we can do some tapping on it right now to see if it corrects. But before we do that, let's check a few other things. So because she's got a weak muscle, I'm looking what's going to change. Remember I showed you finger modes? We teach all these things in the class. So that's structural, which could be, I'll show you in a moment. We do a whole protocol on balancing brain chemistry. So right now we found there was particularly nutrition and structure. So that would be exercise. So what type of aerobic exercise would you do?
Oh, aerobic, none.
How about riding a bike?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay, you've ridden a bike, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so think about riding a bike. Just the thought of it says, oh, that'll help balance my neurotransmitters, okay? What other things could you do that would get your heartbeat going, but not like strength and driving and overdoing it?
I like to do like flow yoga, so I'm moving, but not necessarily like weight training or anything.
Got it. So think about flow yoga. Okay, those would be good too. All right. So let's even ask how much per day. Like flow yoga, more than 10 minutes a day, more than 20 minutes a day, more than 30 minutes a day. Okay. So 30 minutes a day. Okay, so 30 a day. More than twice a week, more than 3 times, more than 4 times. So 4 times a week, almost like every other day. Would that fit for you?
Oh, yeah.
So that'll help balance your neurotransmitters, see? So you ask the body these things. Okay, so also nutrition. So let's ask 5-HTP. Good, GABA. Those are 2 of the neurotransmitters. GABA is actually an amino acid. And then 5-HTP is 5-hydroxytryptophan, which converts into serotonin. GABA, which actually supplement that. So those would be 2 supplements. Okay, let's have you lie on your back again. Let's check a couple other ones here. I'm going to check these Riddler points again. I'm going to touch a few spots, one right here for vitamin E. Now that's showing. I'm going to do vitamin C. Okay, that's not showing, and this would be calcium. Okay, but she shows on vitamin E. Now what I can do then is I can either put the bottle on her body. This is a full spectrum vitamin E from a great company I use quite a lot called Neolife. Okay, so let's see what happens when I ask more than 1 per day. Okay, 1 per day. Now another way to test that is, because you might say, well, how does the body know? Well, the body is quite intelligent. And so now I put 1 on her body and it goes strong. So if I put a second one on, let's see what happens there. And hold, it goes weak. Wow, look how different it is. Isn't it amazing? It is strange, I know, when you're not used to this, but it's totally different. So body says, I like 1 a day. How do you like 2 a day? Not so much. See, so that way you can test that way. That's the way Sheldon Deal does. Okay, so we're getting some good results here. Let's wind it up here with, I showed the nutrition testing. Let's check one other thing, adrenals, because she had symptoms of adrenal fatigue. So this is a muscle related to adrenals. I'm going to pull straight out and hold. Okay, that's as best you can do. Okay, that's the gracilis muscle related to the adrenals. Let's try this side. Okay, now we're going to have you touch the neurolymphatic reflexes 2 inches up and 1 inch out. And do it on both sides with each hand and then see what happens. And hold as I pull out. Very strong. Okay, so we can also check, she didn't show on vitamin C, but sometimes vitamin C will help, as well as an adrenal supplement. So let's start with the adrenal supplement, okay? So let's put that, you can, you don't have to touch any points, but just, keep that on the body and hold as I pull out. Whoa, you see how that's locked in? Mm-hmm. Super strong. Okay, so I could again ask her body, hand off the body. I can also see if it's a priority. I know I've given you a lot of stuff. We cover all of this in the course and then more, where you can really gain mastery of this. So I'm going to ask, watch this, it's strong. If it's a priority, it will change when I touch the priority mode. For you that have studied with me, you know that. So it means a change is going to do you good. So that's a priority. So let's ask again, how much of this? More than 1 per day, more than 2 per day, more than 3 per day. Okay, so 3 per day, 1 3 times a day. That would be this. So this could really help your adrenals get back. And let's give you a switch on here in the meantime. So you're going to rub those points 2 inches up and 1 inch out for the navel. Everyone in the class and watching here, do the same thing and see if yours are tender. The more you're under stress, the greater the tenderness. The way you can think of that is the greater the tenderness, the greater the extent of the blockage. So I'm getting on these reflexes on the back, which are around T10, 11, 11, 12, just off the spine, and what's called the lamina groove. And see if these are tender at all in the back, or are the fronts tender?
The fronts are more tender.
Fronts are more tender. Usually that's what people find, is the front has more sensitivity. And so when you have sensitivity, greater sensitivity, that's the greater the tenderness, the greater the extent of the blockage. So we teach all of these programs, and we're going to look at the website in a minute so you can kind of see all you can learn in the course. Again, I know some of you are already registered, so you can look forward to jumping in. And then let's see what that did to the muscle. Hold as I pull out. Very strong now. So I'm going to go back and check these head points that were showing up earlier. She showed up on this. Let's see if that cleared over here. We might need to still do some stuff with spleen. Okay, so spleen. That's going to be, let's check here, latissimus dorsi. And that's going out. So again, I'm going to use my finger modes here. Structure says yes. Nutrition, yes. Emotional, no. Electrical, hold, no. So that it's also saying nutrition. So let me go back to vitamin F. Yep, it's those essential fatty acids. And there's also hydrochloric acid. And that's strong. So again, every muscle has nutrition, and you learn this in the class. So you can, we show you memory techniques, how to remember these things. So let's find a hydrochloric acid here. This is a product called Beta-Gest. I take this myself. It's so great. Let's see what happens when we put this on the body and see if it's liking it. Yes. Is it a priority? It'll change if it is. Yes. So again, we'll ask this per meal. 1 per meal, 2 per meal. So generally 1 per meal. So this could really help your gut stress. Okay. In fact, let's check this against what we did earlier. And that used to go weak when we put this in the quadricep, would go weak. That actually helps the leaky gut factor. Isn't that great? So you can get so much information quickly with someone and then find out how to bring them back into balance. Okay, so in the meantime, let's do the correction points for the pancreas spleen, which is the latissimus dorsi. Is that tender?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, the greater the tenderness, the greater the extent of the blockage. So we'll bring it back another time and see how we're doing here. Mm-hmm. Okay, good question. Someone wants to know how long you should take it for. Yes, you can do that. And let me first, a caveat to that. It depends what's going on with the person and their stress levels. But sometimes, like say a vitamin A or a fat-soluble vitamin, they would need less over time. So let's give you an example of that to answer it. But first, let's see how this is going. Okay, we got that switched on. So let's go back to the vitamin E. So I'll put the vitamin E in her field here. Okay, and then I'll ask, okay, so 1 a day for more than 1 week, 1 a day for more than 2 weeks, more than 3 weeks. Okay, 1 a day for 3 weeks. And then after that, 1 every other day. Okay, so 3 per week, 4 per week, 3 per week. Okay, so that would be a way you could ask the body on duration. I want to mention one other thing that people often wonder. Well, what about if you're sensitive to a food? Is your body always sensitive to that? Sometimes you can have it less often. Like, how often do you eat hummus?
I mean, sometimes I eat it every day. We love to just snack on hummus.
I know.
And tortilla chips.
I'm the same way. I used to do it, and I had the same thing. I would eat hummus every day, and then I muscle test and say, oh, it's not so great. So let's ask hummus once a week. Yes. Hummus twice a week. Oh, so you get a once a week hummus for now. Now, she also knows the loophole, and I'm going to give her a laser to take. So if you're going to have it, laser it. And it's fun. You go to restaurants and people say, what are you doing? You know. In fact, we're thinking of coming up with a kinesiology kitchen restaurant where when you go to order, you put your arm out and they tell you what you're going to have for your meal. And then they come, instead of a pepper thing, they come with a laser and say, would you like your food lasered? Could be a great new concept, huh? So basically, it's duration and how often you have it, and also the amount. Like, how about coffee? Do you have an organic, healthy coffee that you would eat or drink? I mean,
no.
No? Okay, well, that might be the first thing. So let's ask organic coffee, and I've got some great coffee I'll turn you on to in just a bit. And let's have you think of, I'm going to ask the body, coffee more than 4 ounces at a time? Okay, 6 ounces, 4, 5, 6. So 5 ounces of coffee, okay? So that's where, maybe a little espresso or something, okay? More than once a day? Once a day, okay? Every day? No, let's say every other day, every third day. Okay, so have it one day and not the next. I found that out for myself. If I drink coffee every day, and I even have a healthy coffee, it drains me. And it goes back to stressing the adrenals. In fact, back to this. I mean, we could go on and on. I love this. So I'm going to pull the arm of the leg out again. Okay, so think about coffee. Got it? Let's see how the adrenals like it. It fries the adrenals. See, most people in our culture, especially now, are stressed to the max where their adrenals, they have hypoadrenal, adrenal burnout. And it goes back to LET that I was talking about earlier, living, eating, and thinking. So what they're eating is stressing them out. Now let's think about, we got her switched on here. No food and thought about that, okay? All right, now think about a thought that you are stressed by. You know, something going on you're stressed by. Okay, hold this again. As soon as she thinks about that, bingo. Now, touch the forehead These are the stress release points I told you about that you're going to be touching whenever you have a thought like that. Think about the thought again. Look at that. Wow. She goes strong. So the key is, first of all, when you have a thought, especially that you're like going over and over again, say, okay, I'm going to touch here, maybe tap here, and breathe deeply, and that alone will help clear and unblock the energy to where, for one, your thought will probably not be so negative, and you go into say, okay, what's great about this, or what's great in my life? What am I grateful for? So that's the key for you, okay? Right. All right. Well, let's have you stand up now and see how you're feeling from what little we've done so far. And again, I was demonstrating all that, but I could have done that maybe in 10 minutes, 15 minutes max in a mini session. So what's your energy like now?
I have energetic, but I also feel relaxed.
All right, yeah, which is what you wanted, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So before stress level 10 being greatest, you said you were at a 5. Where's your level now?
I would say about a 2.
Okay,
there's always a little bit there.
Yeah, okay, but then the little bit will get cleared as we start working with the diet. Mm-hmm. And then having, and we could have gone into this, again, for sake of time, we didn't have to, but we go into alternative foods, say, instead of the hummus, what else you might have, and perhaps other beverages, like maybe the green tea or something. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that way, the more you explore with people what will switch them on that they would enjoy, we already found the exercise program that would be good for you. Yeah. So that's where beauty of kinesiology is. It tells you what to do when and where the issues are that are creating the problem in the first place. Okay? Well, thanks. Let's have you back again soon.
Much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. So kinesiology is just so great. And once you learn it, you go, wow, how did I go without knowing these skills? I grew up in pain, total pain. I was going from doctor to doctor, and nobody asked what I ate. I had a horrific diet. So in the biochemical course, and we'll show you a little bit what you get in that course. So we'll be going to the course site for once you're enrolled as a student, and I know some of you already are. We'll go over what you'll see there in just a moment. So it's back to finding out what you're eating that's stressing you, and we call that diet deletion, but also foods you can eat. And I had a major transformation, fortunately, when I was younger, where I think I was 19 years old. I went to Oberlin College, and the cheapest place on campus was the Natural Foods Co-op. Now, I was a pizza beer guy. I didn't know what natural foods were. And so I just moved in because I wanted to save money. And all of a sudden, I was eating whole foods, natural whole foods, organic, and my health totally cleared up. I joined a meditation group where we're doing transcendental meditation. And then I also took yoga classes. So that change in exercise, mental, emotional clearing from meditation and diet totally transformed me. My health, again, was so bad when I was in high school. For 2 years, I could not take gym class because I was in pain just even walking a long distance, let alone exercising. Well, after I cleared up my diet and got into a holistic program, then I said, this is what I want to do. I want to teach others how to do this. So I changed my degree to holistic health. And then when I started doing body work, that's where I found applied kinesiology, where it really is a way to find out how you can discern what's out in a person's living, eating, and thinking, as well as myriad of techniques that are amazingly effective. And you can find things that normally you'd have to do labs, and we still love labs, but you can quickly find out, is there heavy metals? Is there leaky gut? Is there small intestine bacterial overgrowth? Is there candida? And how to clear those up. So it's amazing that you can have all this at your fingertips. And I'll show you once you're enrolled what you'll be able to do. We have a grid that you'll see where we have 24 classes. And there's also, as you see, that each class has a button you'll click on that would get you to the videos. And what we do is we teach an additional technique in each class. And so it says what's in the class and the techniques. And then when you go to scroll down the page a little bit, there's the 24 different classes. We also have periodic question and answer sessions where you can get your specific questions, like you're working with a client and say, what do I do in this case? What do I do in that case? And we will give you specific instruction video just like this, and you have access to all the archives. Now you'll also see there's quizzes. So after you watch the class, and you can watch it as many times as you like, you also practice the techniques, then you can take the quiz, and once you complete all the quizzes, you get a certificate of completion of the course. Now, you'll also see, if you scroll down further, there's all these manuals we give you. I think it's about a 163-page protocol manual where every technique is clearly spelled out, giving you lots of information about biochemistry, nutrition, and conditions like leaky gut, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, what to do for parasites, what to do for heavy metals. It's really immensely rich in content. There's also a manual on the amino acids, what foods have them, what the deficiency signs are, as well as clinical uses and applications. We then cover herbs and vitamins. We have manuals on those. Amino acids, so really rich. We also have a form that you can use with your clients, which I use when I'm doing sessions to record my results, as well as the biochemical test kit. If you get that, then I chart what are out on people, and then I can check the next time they come in. So that's the course. Now, I'll just also mention that we have the certification program coming up. So now we're going to go to another site where it's the kinesiologyinstitute.com, where you can register. Now again, think of how much this material, this content, these skills can bring you, first, a greater effectiveness, greater confidence level, and getting much better results to expand your practice to a much greater income, as well as the greatest income of all for me is a person saying, wow, what you did in that session changed my life. I'll give you an example of a woman I recently worked with. She had 4 years or more of stress in her neck. She said, nothing's clearing it up. I can go to chiropractors and physical therapists. It might work for a little bit of time, but there's something else going on. So when she came to me, we looked at all factors, psychological, structural, nutritional, and it came up that nutrition was the priority, and it was diet deletion. We found 4 foods. In her case, it was chicken eggs, also milk, and cheese, cow's milk, cheese. When she discovered that and eliminated it from her diet, she called me back 2 weeks later and she says, it's like a miracle. She said, I have no more stress in my neck. And I saw her just for a tune-up this week, and she said, yeah, it's never come back. And I've had this for years. And so we got to the source, and now she's referring other people. So your referral list goes way up when you have these skills. So you're really, for a very nominal amount, remember you can deduct this from your taxes. So if you're in a 25-30% bracket, you're actually getting that money off your taxes. And so in this case, we have this course coming up. Yeah, so if you go to kinesiologyinstitute.com and you scroll down, you'll see where it says biochemical, and you're going to click on that. And then there is the registration page. Oh, by the way, you can watch the first class there of the course. So give you a lot of great skills, such as doing the food testing and some other distinctions on biochemical kinesiology. Okay, then you'll see there's 2 options here. One is you can click on the certification program. Now I'll give you a little more information about that. In addition to all the 24 classes I just showed you that you have access to, you also have a 10-day hands-on program. In addition, we're going to do 2 webinars per month. See, that's where you would click there and it shows you how to register. Just put your name in. And again, enrolling now, you will get the $500 discount, as well as you will get immediate access to all the online classes. So the hands-on classes, again, are coming up in October, 5 days, in Long Beach if you can make it for the live in-person classes. But for you that can't make it, because we've had people from 89 countries attending my courses, if you're abroad or just can't fly in, you can stay and watch the whole course like you're in the front row seat. Just like this, we have 4 cameras where you can see overhead shots, angled shots, and you'll be able to then get your, and we can go back to full camera now. I just think, you saw the site, that's where you're going to enroll on one of the 2. And so for being aware that we have a very limited amount because we only allow so many people in the class. There'll be 18 or less in the hands-on class as well as on the online. So if you want to get in, now is the time to enroll, both to save the $500 as well as get immediate access. Now in August, we're going to start every other week doing an additional program for people that are in this course on the certification program, where you will be able to get additional instruction live like we're doing right now, and it's all available on replay, so if you can't make it live, you'll be able to access the replays. And then you're going to get like 4 classes or so that you're going to study before then. That's why it's good to start now. So then you'll get a review of it beforehand, and so when you show up at the class, either on Zoom Live or in person in Long Beach, you'll really have a sound foundation of knowledge and skill that then you can really master the techniques. So once you complete the course, we have quizzes that we mentioned for each of the classes. We have a final written exam and then a practical exam where almost everyone passes, because it's my job to make sure you pass, meaning you really know your stuff. You can use it with clients and get phenomenal results. And then from there, we also have 10 case studies that you will do. So you get to put this into practice. And then once you complete that, you then are certified and you're able to get referrals. Because we had, just the other day, someone asked for a referral yesterday, and I sent it to one of our certified practitioners. So as we get more and more out, I'm releasing a book in the next few months. There's going to be a flood of demand for more of our practitioners. So you will be able to get those referrals. So that in itself can pay for your course. So we are making this available just in October and in December. And after that, we will not have another one. Basically, we haven't had one for 2 years. And so this is a great opportunity to jump right in, make sure your spot's secure. So if you have any questions, by the way, you can respond to this on by going to support@kinesiologyinstitute.com, support@kinesiologyinstitute.com. And also when you go to the page, the home page, if kinesiologyinstitute.com site, and then you'll see as you scroll down the home page, there's a button where you can schedule an individual session with me or one of our practitioners. Click here to schedule a 20-minute inquiry session where we can answer all your questions. And so that's available to you. And this is a good time to lock your spot in, because we're almost full in the class, and make sure you are able to advance your skills in this way. Okay, so the question is, how would you test someone remotely, and will it be covered in the course? Yes, we will cover that, and particularly in self-testing, because for you that are on Zoom, you will be doing that. So we're going to teach that in the course. So you will learn that. And it's basically, well, there's a whole protocol that we will give you in the class, so you will be able to learn that. So the question is, is there a prerequisites? For one, there's no absolute prerequisite, but we want you to have a working knowledge of muscle testing. So we recommend that you've taken the Kinesiology Fundamentals course first. And we have a discount on that as well, and you have lifetime access to it. You'll find it on the site. So if you're already well versed in muscle testing, say like you've done Touch for Health or AK, 100 hours of AK, we have chiropractors and doctors as well as other therapists that have that background. That can work for you to have a working knowledge of muscle tests that you can jump right in. So if you're in doubt, email me and we can have a conversation to see if that's appropriate for you to have that. But basically, you don't have to have structural. The other thing is, if you do have structural, you're going to get a review of the muscles from structural, so you'll learn them even better. Because we're going to go through not all the muscles that are in the structural program, but you're going to get the ones like one for each organ, like one for the adrenals, one for, as we mentioned, the liver, the lungs, the large intestine, and also for the thyroid, as well as spleen, pancreas. So it covers the endocrine system as well. So one for the thymus gland. So it's really great to have some background, at least in muscle testing. But if you're brand new and you've never done a muscle test, then I would say yes, take the Kinesiology Fundamentals course first, and That again is on sale right now. If you want to jump into it, you'll see that on the site. We will explain, the question is, will we explain neurotransmitters, how to work with them, and working with them remotely? Yes, we have several lessons on that, and that's one of my favorite things. I mean, there's everything in the course is great, but when you help people with their neurotransmitters, you often handle amazingly clear up lifelong stressors, like in their psychological issues. We had a woman with severe depression, and we found out by balancing her neurotransmitters, she got happy. She was like, wow, I'm so relieved. Now, there was also some psychological issues we cleared with her as well. But many times people will not even like, well, my life's great, but I feel lousy. Well, you can find that by clearing the stressors and the imbalances in the neurotransmitters. And that's often a high priority. Really great. So that, yeah, we cover that in depth. We'd spend a few weeks on that in the longer class, the 24. So again, you have the option of taking just the 24 right now. And for you that have already taken that and you say, well, I want to get certified, you can apply everything that you've paid for that class towards the certification. So you don't have to repay again, and you'll still have the ability to get referrals from us and to be fully certified, so you really are confident and know your stuff. Great question. Can I take the certification program online without being there in Long Beach? Absolutely yes. Now again, you're just like you're in the front row, because we have the Zoom. Actually, you're better than in the front row, because you get the overhead cameras, the side cameras. You get a really good view of what's going on. And then when we break out to workshop, you will be breaking out with a partner. Even if you have somebody there to practice with, that's ideal. But if not, we show you how to do remote and how to work with it in that context. And then at the end, you will still take the written exam, and then I do me or one of my assistants will do a practical exam where we're watching you on Zoom when you're working with somebody to confirm that you really know your stuff. And then you will then do the 10. So that is a separate opportunity to just do online only, and then you can also be there and hands-on, which ideally hands-on people really love. Though, it's a commitment to travel and to be able to, we have a group that's looking to get an Airbnb for the last group, like we just did structural, and the people that were staying at the hotel were able to just come and go, and they stay afterwards too, which is great. They'd stay up until like 9, sometimes 10 o'clock, practicing on each other everything they learned that day. So it's really great if you can be there hands-on. But we're getting close to full, so if you want to jump in, this would be the time to do that. But again, if you can't make it live in person, you'll still be on the live Zoom. So that's an option. So Brian wants to know, how long does it take? Well, the more you put in, the better you get. But we have people that just right after they've done, basically coming out by the end of December, so give yourself 6 months, they're getting phenomenal results right away. I had one woman who took my certification program, and she started using the techniques right away. In fact, many do. And she built her clientele, so she would have I think she had a 6-month waiting list, and she had 2 practices in 2 different cities. And right away, she was getting these phenomenal results. So it's a matter of how much you put in and practice and train and study, that you can get right away some great results. Because that's why if you're here hands-on and I'm showing you how to do it with a client and you're practicing with people in the class, even if you're online, you get good really quick. So the question is, if someone has an allergy, can you reverse that? And yes, we show you protocols to reverse allergies in the course. And so you learn how to do that. And there are ways, we have 2 or 3 different ways to do it. So that is a great thing. Now, sometimes there's a food that you just shouldn't be eating, so there's things that you're going to make sense of, but sometimes a woman the other day, she was allergic to cucumbers, So those are things we show you in the class, how to clear allergies, as well as addictions. We've had people with addictions to a food or even a behavior, and we got them free of their addiction, including alcohol. And a guy who was alcoholic, and he found out through the protocols we do, and we actually show it in the class. There's a session that it's in on the online class, and how he was able to clear himself of that addiction. Well, we address people who have memory loss issues. Well, that's often a neurotransmitter. We also, in all the classes, you'll see them when you go online, we show you how to switch on your brain, as well as finding out, is there heavy metals involved? That would be a factor, often in memory, as well as the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, how to test for that and balance that. And I found that even for myself. I was like getting those senior moments, I said, what? I can't remember that. And so I found out, in fact, the same test, oh my God, I got heavy metals. So I did the whole heavy metal protocol, some of what I talked to Andrea, and my memory is sharp again. So yes, we cover that. Anna wants to know protocols for leaky gut. Well, we go way more in depth, but what I showed was basically if a quadricep muscle is strong and you put a packet of sugar right over the small intestine and it goes weak, and it stays weak, where if you take the arm and it's weak in the beginning, but 10 seconds later it's strong, that's an indication of leaky gut. There's also the ileocecal valve that will often be out. We didn't have time to show that, but we do a whole session around ileocecal valve. And then you find out diet addition to do. There's a whole protocol we give you for foods to rebalance that, certain supplements like we mentioned, L-glutamine, there's other supplements that help to heal the gut, and herbs like slippery elm, aloe. So there's a whole myriad of things you can do for leaky gut. And that is huge. So many people have leaky gut, because of our reliance on, wheat. Give us this day our daily bread. It didn't say gluten-free bread. Maybe they should put an addendum in the Bible. Wheat, don't eat bread. And so, as well as I mentioned alcohol, antibiotics, and just stress. We're getting our leaky gut is like a pandemic, if there's a pandemic on the planet. And again, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, that goes into play. The ileocecal valve, there's so many things you can help people with in using these techniques in the course. Well, it's been wonderful sharing with you. I'm just so thrilled that you're interested in this and you have the opportunity to study with me so I can be your guide to really helping you help so many other people, helping yourself, helping your family, and getting phenomenal results that makes this all very, very worthwhile investment for you. So again, we're getting close to full, and there's a limit on the certification program. So you want to enroll as soon as you can to make sure you get the discounts, as well as get right in on the study groups, because we're starting next month with those live sessions that are going to preview when you get into the October program and then the December program. If you have any questions, remember you can email support@kinesiologyinstitute.com, as well as go on the kinesiologyinstitute.com website where you'll scroll down to Biochemical Kinesiology, click there, and you'll also see where you can click to schedule one of those sessions, hopefully in the next 48 hours, so you can make sure you get in on that discount for the course to have a inquiry session. So until then, be well, God bless, and thank you for making the Kinesiology Institute your best choice in health and wellness education.